How do you keep your material fresh for audition season? I get this question a lot from people who are auditioning for drama school, whether that is the first round, the recall round, the final round. They want to make sure that the material isn't stale. And because the audition season is quite long, the more and more you use your material, the more and more it does feel like it goes stale. So here's a few ways that I feel really helps to keep your audition material fresh and alive for those all-important auditions. Number one, don't play it the same each time. I mean, you should be doing this right from the off. Right from the beginning, you shouldn't be trying to make it sound and seem and appear the performance exactly the same way each and every time that you do it. Yes, you're going to be making overall decisions and pursuing the same objective each and every time, but you should never be rehashing the same intonation pattern within your voice or trying to redo the performance that you did last time. It can be really tempting to do if you hit on a line and you think, oh, that sounded amazing. But trust me, don't try to do it again. Don't try to do exactly the same as what you did last time, because the truth of it, the energy, the impulse of it won't carry. It's better to start fresh, try and find something new within the material each and every time, and let the previous performances go. Number two, get another person involved. Often when we're preparing and auditioning for drama school, we do it solo, so it's really easy to fall into the trap of just cycling the same ideas, the same gestures, the same intention each and every time. And this in turn makes everything incredibly stale. So freshen it up by speaking to an actual human being right there in front of you, because after all, that's what you're going to be doing when you get it in front of an audition panel. You're going to be speaking to somebody, whether that is another actor, a friend, a family member, or a private coach. Having that outside perspective can help jolt you out of the automatic responses that you're coming up with. And you'll find that by listening and responding to what this other person is giving you, you're going to find different ways in and different choices that you're making. It also helps you to refocus on the fact that you're working to affect somebody, that you're not just given this big swathe of time to speak all of your thoughts out very prettily. It's about moving somebody. It's about affecting somebody. Number three, go back to the text. Just go back to basics. The more and more we do something, the less and less connected we are to the origins of the piece. So read the play again. Read especially the scene in which your speech takes place in. Reconnect to your previous circumstances. Go back to all of the notes that you made, the decisions that you made when you first started working on this speech. The likelihood is you're drifting over some of the detail, so return to the notes to refresh all of that. Reconnect and refresh what your objective is, what the want of this speech is. What do you want to actually get out of the whole situation? And think about the relationship to the person that you're speaking to is, and why is it the way that it is? Oftentimes when everything goes a little bit dead, it's because we've disconnected from the basics, from the origins of what we're actually doing. So go back to the text. Number four, try some redirection. Trying the speech in drastically different ways that are completely out of the realms of the context that you have actually created breaks you out of that cycle of repetition, and it forces you to use different ways of performing the speech. You'll find that you are thinking about the text completely differently because you have to apply it to something that you've never applied it to before. If you're a little bit stumped for what redirection to give yourself, then I can help. You can download my free redirection prompt sheet from my website. All of the details are in the description box below, and in the sheet you get 30 completely different ways of playing your speech. And these are notes that could be fired at you in an audition situation. So you're actually doing two things in one. You're doing redirection practice and you're keeping your material from going stale. It's an amazing resource and you get to have it for free. So click on the link below. Number five, think about the subtext. As an exercise, I want you to go through each word and each phrase that you have within your speech. So don't try and perform it. Actually go back to, what does this word mean? What does this phrase mean? And what do I mean by what I say? Is there something underneath it? Can I translate this in some way? It really helps you to delve deeper into the meaning, and it stops it from being stale because you're having to think about it in a really detailed way. So for example, let's take a piece of text. Let's just take a line from the play The Ferryman by Jez Butterworth. This is a speech that I was working on with a coaching client who was prepping for their recall audition for a Lambda recently, so it's fresh in my mind. And the line is, "Houses being raided 3 times a night, petrol bombs, nail bombs. So we discussed the fact that these are what the authorities are currently doing to the civilians of this town, that it's domestic terrorism. Happy stuff. So let's actually look at the subtext here. Let's take houses being raided 3 times a night. So the fact that the houses are being raided 3 times a night as opposed to 1 time basically means that the people who are living in these houses are gonna get no sleep whatsoever. So that really kind of ups the idea that the people that are doing this are actually just being incredibly cruel. They're doing it to torture. Throws up the question of why are they raiding 3 times a night? What could they possibly be looking for and not finding that they have to repeat raids and searches 3 times? And it insinuates that they probably weren't looking for anything at all, but that they were actually just trying to torment people. So by discussing all of that, you see that just through that one little line that you could have drifted over the detail of, you're starting to throw up all of these different possibilities of what you can do creatively through your performance just by going through the subtext. Then we've got petrol bombs, nail bombs. These are just very short lists, and because you're repeating the word bomb, it's really, really easy to just go through the repetition, throw it away, and not do anything more with it. A stale performance. But let's actually go back to what these two things are and what the differences between them are as well. So you've got petrol bombs. So petrol bombs will create a big explosion. They're there to destroy property. They're there to destroy vehicles. And yes, they're there to really, really hurt human life. Nail bombs, however, are completely different. They're not going to damage property and vehicles as much, but when it comes to people, there's going to be a lot more damage there. So you start to think about, okay, in terms of human life, which is worse, a petrol bomb or a nail bomb? So just by asking yourself that question, you start to think, I can perform this completely differently because now I have 2 different opinions on what these 2 things are. It's about going through each word, each phrase with a fine-tooth comb to find more detail. And the more detail that you find, the more possibilities for performance that you find. I hope that you found this really, really useful and that you're going to implement some of these things in the run-up to your auditions. I really want to know how you're finding it all. So if you've got an audition coming up and you're preparing, and if you've executed any of these points that I've raised in the video, comment below. Also tell me what auditions you've got coming up, what schools you're applying for, so that we can give you a big thumbs up and a big good luck. And of course, make sure to like and subscribe to the channel, and I will see you in the next video. But for now,